Hi guys, how are you all doing today? I hope you're doing well. I did not this week. Uh, ooh, it's been quite a day, very long day. First of all, I just want to know how you guys are doing. I really do hope you're doing well. Let's see. First, let's do some housekeeping stuff just for the fact that I need to remember some things. So, you'll see we're at 11 followers. Very happy about that. Very proud about that achievement. Go us. But I would love for us to try and get to, 50 followers, hopefully by April. But if we can't achieve it by April, I am going to give a little bit of an extension. So, April, May. Between those 2 months, I would love for us to try to hit 50 followers. I believe we can do it personally, but I need your help. So if you haven't hit the follow button already, please, consider hitting the follow button. We have a lot of fun. It's mostly just me chatting. I play a lot of dating sims. I will do some puzzle games in between, but I'm still generally kind of a newish gamer, so I want to try to do like generally easier stuff for me to try to figure out, and then slowly but surely me attempting to make money in my own personal life, we can start doing more intense or like fun gaming. And I'd love to hear your suggestions for any of the stuff that we do here. Cause honestly, I have not been much of a gamer in my real life. I think the only game I've ever really consistently played over the years was Just Dance, and even then it's just been like random intervals. So, I have played Mario Kart, and I have played Smash at least once. Smash Bros at least once. I think it was Smash Bros Ultimate, just once. And then I've done like Mario Kart every now and again, just on and off. Mostly with friends, but a lot of the time it's just I'm sitting there watching because there's not enough for all of us, and people don't really like giving me a chance to play. It's fine. I'm not hurt by that. Fuck those people, but like I'm not hurt by that. But anyway, I would love for us to try to hit 50. Do you really need some suggestions for like different types of games that are generally pretty cheap, to be honest? Because yeah. Okay. Anyway, I know that the goal between 11 and 50 followers, huge ass jump. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna do some follower goals. One of these days I'm gonna figure out how to show those follower goals on here so then you can see it. I do still generally need to learn some things. I have to teach myself some stuff. So I'll eventually have that displayed somewhere. Or I could just write it down and hold it up to you guys and then just keep it on there. That'd be so scout, but so funny. But yeah, no, anyway. Between 11 and 50, huge ass jump. So, at 15 followers, we're gonna do a bit of a roller coaster presentation. I'm just gonna tell you how roller coasters are made, and then we're gonna talk about Space Mountain and the different iterations of that around the world. I find that to be really fascinating. It is very much me as a human being, nerdy and also just kind of fun. It brings joy to people. I think it'd be an interesting topic for us to discuss. And then, we can talk about other nerdy things in that same stream. But the main thing is, I want to do a roller coaster presentation with you guys because it's fun. I also did a presentation on animatronics, but like that's on the school computer that I no longer have access to. So, yeah. Not school computer, like school account that I don't really have access to anymore, so oops. Anyway, at 25 followers, I'm going to generally take a Funko Pop that I have. We're going to customize it a little bit, use some, metallic paints just to zhuzh it up a little. I think it'll be a fun thing and definitely take us a long ass time for to do, but I think it'll be a fun thing. Watch me fail at trying to get the detail because it's going to be really small. The only reason I really want to do this is because I watch a lot of like doll repaints, and I'm like, well, a lot of people do this with dolls. I would love to do this with the thing I collect and love the most, which is Funko Pops. can I try to customize this to a little bit more of my liking? I also know that if I really wanted to like customize more things, I'd actually have to get a way to draw out the designs. I'd love to show that process with you guys. I'd love to do that with you, where we'll draw out our designs, figure out how we're gonna make it. I have looked up a lot of the materials that doll repainters do use. Generally not that expensive. There's only one thing that's expensive, but that makes sense. It's epoxy sculpt. It's just a clay that you have to have like two like different things to like mash together, and then when it's mashed together you can now use that to sculpt things. I find it really fun. It would definitely take a long process to do, but like things like Mr. Super Clear MSC, where it will take the vinyl and make sure that anything you add onto it, like watercolor pencils, paint, stuff like that, it's easier to apply it on there, anything vinyl, and then you have a matte finish over it. It'd be really cool. Worbla, which is like a thermoplastic like sheet thing. So it's like a cardboard sheet thing that if you want to like shape it in any way, it's activated by heat, and then when it's done, it's actually really strong. A lot of cosplayers use it, so think like cosplayers who do fabrications to their stuff. Yeah, not that expensive. I'd love for us to do stuff like that, but I also know that hey, if I really wanted to take the customization process to a different level, 3D printing is a thing, but that also shit ton of money. But it'll be a fun thing for us to explore an avenue. But yeah, I'll do a Funko repaint with you guys at 25 followers only. I'd love to do it, but I want to hold it off for that stream specifically, just to get my toes in. It's not going to be too fancy, but I think it'll be a cool thing for us to do. Okay, 35 followers. I'm getting off track. I need to get back. 35 followers. We're going to take a Hogwarts house quiz. We are going to definitely find out whether or not, well, what Hogwarts house I am. Who knows? Because, like, personality-wise, I have not changed, I don't think, over the years. I mean, I've taken the 16 personality thing many times over the past years of my life. I've never really changed. The only thing that changes about me is just how introverted I am. Yeah, I'm an INFP. So, I'm not doing right now. But yeah, heavily in touch with my feelings, and it's not great. But yeah, I would love, not great, and I want to pursue careers where I'm genuinely passionate and love what I'm doing. But the way the world works right now, it's not possible, so right now I'm gonna be... I finally settled down with the idea of, like, I'll just do a job that I have no qualms with. I don't care too much about it, but it's gonna help me make money so then I can actually do the things I want, while also still applying for the jobs that I want to do in the career that I'd like to pursue. But, can't really do that now, and, your girl gets really sad doing nothing all day, so, But anyway, enough about that. 35 followers, Hogwarts house quiz. One for me, and then one for the general chat, so you guys are gonna have to figure out your answers together when we do that. It'll be the official Pottermore thing for me, as well as a BuzzFeed Hogwarts house thing that I remember seeing, where you actually have the percentages of each of the houses to see, how big the gaps would be in between or how small. The BuzzFeed Hogwarts house quiz I'm gonna do, and then you're gonna do, but generally Pottermore it's only gonna be me, so yeah. I mean, I'd love to know what your headcanons are for what Hogwarts house you think I'm in, but we'll see. We'll see. I would love to definitively find out. but that's only gonna happen at 35 followers here on Twitch. Okay, at 45 followers. 45 followers. It's close to our goal, but not close enough, you know? So 45 followers. I do have a little baggie where it's... Ooh, I do have a little baggie where it's a Star Wars X-Wing model that we can build together. I think it'll be a fun time. It definitely will take me a bit, because Lego in itself hard, and like when you screw up, you really gotta make sure that you don't hurt yourself. I just have a funny story about something similar to that. But yeah, now as an adult, I like want to play with Lego a little bit more, because I never got to as a kid, and I always found it really fun, and I like building and like having something physical in my hands to do, so it'll be a fun stream. Yeah, but only gonna happen at 45 followers, so guys, you gotta hit the follow button here on Twitch if you haven't already. Then 50 followers, our ultimate goal of this whole thing, as of right now anyway. I don't know, because I know at 50 followers we can start subscribing, and you know, if that's something you would like to do in the future, because you know, let's support women here, but also let's support queer minorities. I realize I have a shit ton of identities that I'm very much not always really see. So I'm gonna use it. But anyway, 50 followers. You, my lovely chatters, you guys get to decide what we do for stream. Can't do anything too crazy, and you know, when a bitch starts making money, we'll see. 'Cause, I don't know about letting you guys spend my money on anything just yet. Anyway, that's it. That's all our follower goals. Let's see. Okay. I'm good with all that. Yeah, that's all our follower goals. No, wait, I just realized. Okay, now I feel better. Now Ricky's here. You'll notice I have a lot of plushies around me and a lot of pillows. It's just because I like feeling... I don't know. It's not cuddle. I like feeling surrounded, and I like having something to pet. Yeah. Yeah, no, the way my brain works is like very confusing to me. I don't... It's not fun. Anyway, general thing I wanted to do... I just wanted to talk to you guys, because I enjoy our chats, even if it's literally just me talking to absolutely no one. It's fine with me. I just need some things to get out, and I don't want to keep it all to myself, because, to be honest, it gets really, really sad and depressing really quickly when I start to keep things to myself. So, I figured, I can't afford therapy as of right now, but, you know, we can do free therapy through TikTok and whatnot. Yeah. Oh man, I don't genuinely have any plans for these streams. I just kind of decide like right before. I'm like, okay, this looks like a fun thing to do. Now I finally made a decision about my life and the way it was going. So I've made it very clear that I have graduated from university, May 2023. I have a Bachelor of Science in Physics. And before you go saying, oh my god, that means you're smart. No, it means I was stupid enough to go to college and pick a major that is semi-useless. Mostly useless, let's be honest here. So, in terms of like job hunting, it's been difficult trying to figure out what I want to do and realizing, oh, you know, the way the world is working as of right now, it is extremely difficult to break into like STEM, especially. It's even harder when you are female presenting, because no, female presenting and you're just starting out in the industry, it is incredibly difficult to do anything in STEM. So I was like, okay, what can I do that's, adjacent to that? So I thought I would go into teaching. I've done a few interviews for teaching, tutoring, whatnot. Most of the time I get rejected or I'm just ghosted. Or you find out the things that you apply to are just ghost listings. They're not actually hiring. And everything that's saying that they're now hiring is most of the time a complete and utter lie. If I'm being completely honest, because, like, yeah, a lot of those, like, the economy is not going well. I'm really sorry to get really heavy with this, but yeah, no, people are losing their jobs. It's more difficult than ever to actually get a job and stay in one. And, to be able to financially take care of yourself, you're going to need to do multiple things. It's gotten really bad. America, as it is right now, is slowly but surely turning into a dystopia, and I'm very scared for our future. But I'm also very scared right now. So, job hunting has not been going well. I've done a few odd jobs over the years. I was very scared that I would have to go back to any of them and be stuck in that session for the rest of my life. So I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go back. I want to try to do a professional thing. But, 6-7 months out of college and trying to do all of that, I can't, fool around anymore. It's a scary, scary thing to realize, it doesn't matter how bad you want it. It doesn't matter whether or not you have the skills. It doesn't even matter if you have the qualifications. At the end of the day, the world is just not going to work out. The world is not as friendly as you'd like it to be. Things that you want don't always work out. And sometimes backup plans are definitely not something you want, but something you have to do. So, yes, I've decided to sell my soul to corporate America, and I'm just gonna go back to one of my odd jobs, because at least then I'll be making money and I can still apply to, professional ones that are gonna pay a little bit better. But I need some sort of money income so that I can work off my student loans, because the company, my private student loans, the company that I did them with are not being really understanding of the situation that I've found myself in. So it feels more and more like I will never get out of that debt. So I have to do something about it. So I'm gonna, as much as I hate the idea of being logical and trapped in something I absolutely do not care for, and just be completely apathetic, it's something that I'm gonna have to do, and I don't like I don't like that, but I'm trying to be okay with it. So yeah, I'm gonna going back to retail. Yeah, I worked as a sales associate / expediter, which is just the person who works in the back, finding all of the stuff that the salespeople need. I did both of those. It was just whichever side needed me more, that's what I'll be. As much as I am an extreme introvert, I do not like talking to people. I am very awkward. I will only do the bare minimum amount to talk to other people, but I'll do it. I'm not gonna be happy about it, but it's fine. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to that. I will never go back to fast food, because that in itself, I feel like I've told this story either on here or on TikTok. I'm not sure which one, but I've told the story that I used to work as a cashier for Popeyes. It was just a summer job. generally. And I was like, okay, what I have to do, I have to take the customer's order, you know, do the thing with money, give them change if they need it, and like stuff like that. And then I'd also, you know, if he didn't have anyone, and like there was time, I'd pack the orders, and sometimes I would make the chicken sandwiches because there was no one there manning that station all the time. So, yeah. Then, clean, and then. No, at night we would just be cleaning everything to make sure it's all okay and acceptable. And, like, actually making sure that we would be able to walk and, like, it was okay. Not have to worry about mold and stuff like that. And then refilling, restocking everything. I did that during the summer of 2020. Yeah, when the world started to open up again, but COVID was still a huge thing and like, you could possibly die. Yeah, I worked at Popeyes, and customers are awful people. I find that working in fast food was a lot. Like, people treat you a lot worse in fast food than they do in retail, oddly enough. Because retail, it's like, okay, I have to trust this person to get me the thing that I want. But like somehow it's still dehumanizing, to be honest, because they do very much talk down to you, and it's just like you are essentially a servant to them, but at least you're still a person to them. Somehow, some way with fast food, you when you work in fast food, you're not really treated as a person. Not even as a servant, you are just treated as like a means to an end, like sort of an object, or it's just like, I don't like you, I don't want to talk to you, but I must if I want the thing if I want, the thing I came here for. Get it's a service job, but like, some people are wild. There was a customer we once had that really wanted a certain side that was no longer available. I think it was red beans and rice. Didn't have it at the time. Now we don't really have dirty rice anymore. But anyway, really wanted red beans and rice. But that specific day, there was no red beans and rice. So we asked him. The manager came out and actually asked him, "Oh, we don't have that right now. Can we get you a different side?" He's like, "Sure. Okay. We're gonna get you mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes and gravy? Is that okay?" He said, "Sure." They packed his order. They put the mashed potatoes in, and his other side, I think, was also French fries. A lot of starch. Um, and then as he's walking away, he opens it up and notices that it's mashed potatoes instead of red beans and rice, which is what we told him. I know we did definitely tell him about that and the whole issue around this. And what happened instead, I'm gonna turn off the music actually. And yeah, no, he got very mad. He was so enraged, just started yelling and screaming, just like, "This is not what I ordered. How dumb are you people?" And I was just like, "Sir, please calm down. We did tell you about this. We really don't have the side that you want. We asked you if it was okay. We did a substitution, and here was the substitution offer. You said it was fine." Like, he really didn't have a reason to get mad because we did explain everything in as clear of English as possible, and yet he still got really mad about it. Um, we still had like the plexiglass barrier between, the customer and cashier side, and like, generally like there at the food kiosk thing where the cashier and where you get your food is, there's that whole like banister thing, like it separates the workers from the customers. And obviously COVID, we've had the plexiglass in front of them, so we had that. And then just the little hole down where you would slip the food, or where you would push out food, slip the money, push out the food. I remember standing behind that and just being like, this guy is crazy. We told him exactly what was going to happen, what was going, and like he still got mad about the result, even though we had told him multiple times throughout the whole process, this is what's going to happen. He got mad and he opened the mashed potato container. It's a small mashed potato, so you can hold it. It's not a lot of stuff. He was holding it and then he threw it at the plexiglass barrier. I was like, "Oh, that was unexpected. That was not a fun thing to experience." So, manager and had to kick him out of there. Told me to go in the back. Take your break now. I'm gonna handle this instead. So it was like, I don't even know. It wasn't even lunchtime, actually. I think this was at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe? So, not a lot of people. Damn! Damn, you got mad because you couldn't get a side that wasn't available at the time. And when we told you what the substitution would be, you said fine and then got mad about the fact that we added in the substitution that we told you we would do. I don't know. This is why I now have even more respect for anyone who does food service jobs. I mean, I had a lot of respect for them before because, to be honest, to be able to do that, always have a smile on your face, be treated like absolute, scum of the earth, dirt, honestly, by so many people, and also, like, be able to handle so many crowds of people coming into the place of work and saying, "Hey, I want this and I want this." Then make sure everything goes smoothly. And if there is something that the customer is unhappy about, figure out what it is and see what you can do to help. Do that all very happily. Mm, had a lot of respect for them before. Then worked as one of them, and I'm like, I cannot imagine doing this for the rest of my life. I fast food workers or just food service workers in general deserve so much respect. Same thing goes for janitors, custodial staff. They work so hard, and they I know what janitors actually make a decent amount of money over teachers, but in general, not a lot of pay. So much extra work than what you were actually expecting for the job, and they do it all not really happily, but you wouldn't be able to tell how awful the whole thing would be. So much respect to them. Uh yeah, but I'm going back into retail because we gotta be logical. Even though I don't want to be logical, I adulting is hard. I realize now that transition between sheltered college kid to full on adult is fucking difficult. Not a lot of people talk about it. Yes, post grad life is stressful. It's like, okay, you've graduated now, you gotta start job hunting. You gotta start trying to find a way in the career that you chose when you were 18, 17, 18 years old, and just find an entry level job, stick with it, and try to make as much money and then pay off student loans and figure out, okay, where am I gonna live? Where am I gonna take care of myself if I don't want to live with my parents anymore? And it's so much stress, and nothing prepares you for it. That transition is so weird because you, yes, you are an adult and you should figure out all the things that adults want to do, but no one ever tells you what are all the things that are important, what you should work on, and all that stuff. They just kind of expect you to know. Apparently, I needed to know what the hell a parallelogram as a child, high school especially. I apparently needed to know how to do geometry, but yet I cannot read things. I have no financial literacy. Mind you, I was supposed to take a financial literacy class in my senior year of high school, and instead, that teacher did not teach us shit. I don't even remember what happened in that class. I just remember, like, no one paid attention. I knew he did not actually care about his job. And, like, what? Not even like halfway, like 3/4 of the way through the school year, the man just left. Like, that teacher who was supposed to do financial literacy just left. And we did not really have a real teacher after that. So we're all just kind of like, well, now what? It's like a class that is so important to living as an adult. No one is there to actually teach it, and no one really took it. Like, if the teacher itself, like the teacher themselves, don't even take themselves seriously for a financial literacy class, there is no way in heaven or hell, there's no way on earth that these kids, these students, are actually going to be able to know anything. So we're all just setting ourselves up for failure. American education system. We're not really teaching anyone how to really live and prosper in here unless, of course, you are already coming from a great place. Like, if you were born into a wealthy family, you will have nothing to worry about for the rest of your life because you have the generational wealth to fall back on. You have that financial security that most people will never know. The rest of us, we're all screwed over. The thing that I genuinely kind of hate right now is the fact that, like, college now, as more time passes, like, college seems like a scam. Like, they're telling us, oh, you want, like, high paying, decent jobs? Well, you got to go to college and get a degree for that. But now, having a bachelor's or even a master's, it's not enough. And you have so many people being laid off or fired because they cannot financially support themselves. So many companies fail, so many people cannot, you know, only work one job. Like, nothing is working out for us. Yeah? Like, God, how do I explain this in a way that makes sense to anyone else except me and my scrambled brain? Like, obviously, billionaires are going to continue getting more and more wealthy. But here, middle class, lower class, it's getting worse to the point where retirement is not even an option anymore. And having only one job to pay everything is a fantasy. And that is scary. So yeah, no, a lot of things in the news are like, oh, soon jobs are no longer going to require to have a bachelor's degree to apply. You can just have a high school diploma. Well, guess what? That is just the company's excuse to pay you less money for doing the same exact job as somebody who has that degree. You can be absolutely amazing at the job, right? And not have a bachelor's degree, and guess what? You will never get a raise. They will not pay you the same amount as your other coworkers who actually did that. And because of the fact that you don't have the degree, you are more likely to be on the chopping board. Like, they'll just straight up fire you. Doesn't matter how long you've been working with them. Like, it's bad out here. Oh, by the way, I've been noticing some things on the interwebs about Taylor Swift right now. After the Grammys, especially. A lot of Swifties are actually turning against Taylor. It's- I would love to know what's happening with that. But I know that, like, Taylor Swift, when she got her Grammy, she did not acknowledge Celine Dion, who was presenting the award. And we all know what's happening with Celine Dion. Celine Dion is like very ill right now, and I wish her the best, and I hope she recovers. I hope she no longer has to be in pain like that. I really hope she does well. But to not even acknowledge this absolute icon of a woman, and then have the audacity to begin your acceptance speech with, "This is my 13th Grammy." After Miley Cyrus made such a big deal about the fact that she got her first Grammy. Like, that is so narcissistic of you, ma'am. Like you're turning a lot of people off with that. And then the fact that she used the Grammys award show to announce an album where nobody else everybody else in the room are also artists like you. Mm, ma'am, this is a work event for all of you. Why? They all do the same thing as you do. You were pretty much saying I'm better than you, and this means nothing to me. Like she was so sure she was gonna win the Grammy, so she was like, "By the way, guys, I've been doing something a little special. I'm releasing an album." It's like saying for the other artists that worked so hard and we're not even sure that they would win a Grammy, but are there to celebrate not just themselves but other people in the industry as well. Like, how out of touch are you with people, man? Not only that, I saw online that she dragged up Lana Del Rey with her as she's accepting the award. And you can very clearly tell that Lana Del Rey does not want to be up there because Lana Del Rey, God, she's so talented. I do really like her stuff, and she does have a very dedicated fan base, and she does have a very specified, like, genre of music that she has a chokehold over. Hmm. Like, aligning yourself with her. Like, Lana Del Rey has never won a Grammy. That's insane, right? But, like, no, she's never won a Grammy, and yet here she is, new bestie forcing a relationship, not just being like, "Hey, I need you to stand behind me and watch as I accept yet another award that you will never see in your lifetime." Like that was the vibe that I was getting, and that like a lot of people are reposting it and talking about it. It's like, oof, Taylor, you're not really marketing yourself very well here. Like, I think hardcore Swifties, and I think especially like newer no, newer Swifties end up being like the most standing of stans. But they're insane. But yeah, I think newer Swifties, hardcore stans, will always stand by her side. But I think a lot of like casual people, or especially like older Swifties, are starting to reevaluate why they like this woman so much, why they've given her as much power as she has. So, yeah. Also, seen so many theories about Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo that honestly I believe it. I do believe it. They're really interesting theories. Um, what there was a TikTok that was like when Olivia Rodrigo was starting out, she was lining herself. Oh, she was very clearly lining herself with Taylor Swift. Like, she'd be like, "Oh, I love Taylor Swift so much." I do think that she was a genuine fan of Taylor Swift, but it's like, "Oh, hey, you like Taylor Swift stuff? You'll like my stuff too," especially when it was her first album. So it's a smart move. Like, align yourself with someone who is very established, very famous, that you have similar vibes to. So it's like, oh, all of their fans, you know, our names are in the headlines together. If you like her stuff, you'll like my stuff. And, you have that overlap. But, I mean, you'll notice, like, Olivia. pretty much is doing everything Taylor Swift is famous for, but better. Swifties, please don't come after me for this. But it's like, yeah, Olivia Rodrigo rivals Taylor Swift with her lyricism, which is something a lot of Swifties are like really hardcore into because they, goddamn, they read into those lyrics real deep. And Olivia Rodrigo, she can do it. Olivia Rodrigo has what? She can perform really well. And seeing her at live stuff, it's like, wow, amazing. Much like Taylor Swift. Like, like Olivia Rodrigo can go to Taylor Swift and yet still outperform even more. And she's younger, so she'll be in the industry a little, what, a little longer and all that stuff. But like, yeah, no, to have a a young person pretty much do what you do, but somehow better. Like, no offense to Taylor Swift fans, no offense to the Swifties, but I don't think she's that great of a vocalist. I think she's quite mid. I'm sorry, and that is my hot take. I think she's a good lyricist. I just I'm not a fan of her voice. I, it does kind of blend in my mind with a lot of other people who just sound very similar. Like this is generic pop artists. But Olivia Rodrigo, she has amazing vocals and such control. I'm a huge fan, huge fan. So yeah, and I think Taylor Swift knew that Olivia very much could threaten the throne that she was on. So what you do? You be nice in public, but behind the scenes, you do the dirty work. Right, like we find out what Taylor Swift demanded writing credits for some songs on Sour, or at least a song on Sour, which is such a like damn. She's young, she's new to the industry, she's a fan of yours, and while you are nice to her in public, you do that. Like that's such a shitty thing to do. Can't believe you would do that, ma'am. Yeah, no. What else? What else was like the whole like theory thing on TikTok? I don't really remember much about it. I'm so sorry. No, but it was like Taylor Swift knew that Olivia Rodrigo could very much be the next her, and that scared her. So she's now like icing out Olivia Rodrigo. Everybody else that in the music industry that she's friends with, especially like females, like I'm so sorry to say this. Like Sabrina Carpenter, Lana Del Rey, like those artists. Oh god, even Phoebe Bridgers, which I'm so sorry to say it. But like she pretty much used them and like what their specified genre and their fan base and added it onto hers when she was trying to market different eras for herself. And she knew that the rest of them would never be that much of a threat to her as Olivia Rodrigo. So that's why you're like, yeah, be friends with the people who you know you're better than. That is the vibe that Taylor Swift gives off. No, like finding out so much things, so many things about like what's going on behind the scenes of Taylor Swift, and realizing she's a very smart woman, very smart businesswoman with a very smart team that are making like they're sneaky moves, but they're like really intelligent to really like you want to get a specified image of yourself? Fine, we're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. Like right now, what people are saying that she's trying to go for the whole Americana type of image right now, which is why she's lining herself with Lana Del Rey. That's why she's I'm so sorry to say this. She's dating Travis Kelce and very much being like, yes, I'm a football girly. I am supporting my mans who plays football. And that is like the all American type thing. Like, no, she knows what she's doing. She's very smart about how she makes her money and what moves she makes. But, like, I don't know. I respect her in that sense, but, like, I wish, for, I mean, in any industry, I wish that you didn't have to tear other people down to prop yourself up. But unfortunately, that is the way things work, especially in like entertainment industry. It is just the way things go, and it sucks. Oh, I also saw another theory on TikTok about the fact that it's like, you know, celebrities are only really celebrities because we give them our attention and our money. When we take that away, they're now desperate for us. So really, in reality, us giving certain people attention, our money, like that type of thing, we we create these celebrities and put them on such high pedestals that we forget that they're people too that like rely on us, these so-called friends, to be where they are standing. Now, if you were born again, I say this again, if you're born into a wealthy, affluent family, you're fine. But if you want to be even more successful, more famous, do what Taylor Swift is doing and like use the money that you have and the influence and power you have to be an even bigger thing. I think that also, I know Renee Rapp has also addressed that, where she's like, she knows that she was born into privilege, and she is taking advantage of that to really what push her career. So yeah, but like Renee Rapp having no like your management is the funniest thing ever, because she'll just say whatever the fuck she wants to say. Very much Gen Z of her. Love that. So out of pocket, so unhinged. Love that. But I love the fact that she acknowledges that she comes from a place of, you know, privilege, that she is able to do the things she does, but you know, I like the fact that she still feels very much down to earth and very much like not like Taylor Swift, who's very much like out of touch with the way things are working out for other classes or just other people in general. Yeah. I feel like this is getting a little too political, but like also this is just what is going on in my brain right now. I just very much have a pipeline between my brain and my mouth. There is no filter. Whatever I'm thinking, I'm saying. I feel like that's gonna get me in trouble one of these days. Or now, considering the fact that I said things about Taylor Swift and the Swifties will probably be mad at me. Yeah, no. Eh, sorry. No, I am sorry for, saying that. It's an opinion. It's my opinion. I don't like her voice. Oh. Oh, here's something that I did today. Today being February 7th, 2024. I watched Spam-A-Lot today. So Spam-A-Lot is, actually the Broadway musical based off of the Monty Python's Holy Grail and the whole Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's called Monty Python's Spam-A-Lot. Yeah, fun musical starring Ethan Slater, Alex Brightman, James Monroe, Ighart. I don't remember how to pronounce his name. Fuck. And Jonathan Bennett. Also Leslie. I don't remember how to pronounce her last name, but she's also from Beetlejuice. She was the original Delia. Yeah, a lot of big names. Um, what I found really funny throughout that whole thing was like when Ethan Slater first came out, barely any applause. It was very dry in the room for him. And almost every time he came out, it was kind of very dry. Like he did get laughs, much like the rest of them, but like overall, it was very, very dry for him. But everybody else is like, "Yeah, oh, it's him." And then there's Ethan's later. And then, like, barely anything. Yeah. It was interesting to watch, to be in that audience and just be like, "Oh, there's Ethan Slater. There's SpongeBob. There's Ariana Grande's current boyfriend." Oof. Yeah, there was one point in that musical where he was just in nude underwear and had a bunny puppet and essentially had to pretend like he was naked. I was like, "Oh, he's semi-muscular. Good for him." Yeah, yeah, just good for him. I'm like, "Oh, he looks like a man. He looks like any other man." Yeah. I've also seen the joke online of calling him Carrot Top. Yeah, no, I believe it. Oh, and Ariana Grande with blonde hair and bleach eyebrows. It's a look. Not my favorite look on her, but it is a look. Okay, if I'm being completely honest, and I feel like people were gonna come for me, but I do not care. This is my opinion. Please remember that it's an opinion. It's not anything else. But her face with the bleach eyebrows reminds me of the doll repaints that I watch a lot, but it's like the doll repaints after they take off the factory paint and they haven't done anything about it. So it's just a blank doll face. I'm gonna go show you what I mean. Doll face without factory paint. Oh my god, they're so fucking cursed. Now I'm gonna just, here we go. No, that's not what I want. God, I there we go. Okay, I'm gonna show you something funny. Okay, okay, okay. We move, we do that, and there, we're good. This is what Ariana Grande reminds me right now, with her bleached eyebrows. It's the doll repaint process where you just take off the factory paint, but you still have, like, you've either made the hair wigs or rerouted the hair already, but like you haven't done anything to the face. This is what she reminds me of right now currently. I I can't tell you why. That this is just what she reminds me of. I don't know, man. I don't know if this is like a good look for her, but it's a look she's doing. And you know what? If she's happy with it, good for her. I can't imagine why, but you know, it's a look. Oh man. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-doo. I swear I was going to say something else, but mine be blanking. You know, I almost didn't stream tonight because yeah, I was tired after coming home for pretty much spending the whole day in New York to watch a matinee. Yeah, I did post that vlog over on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok is the same as this, Kai_oh_my, and Instagram is Fungos_oh_my. But yeah, that's fun. We went to K Town for lunch, had some Korean fried, well, no, yeah, Korean fried chicken. Walked yeah, walked around, went to the theater. We went to Daiso. I love Daiso. Daiso, no, is it Daiso or Miniso? It's Miniso. Oof. Oof. Why do I confuse the two in my head? No, we went to Miniso. I love seeing Miniso mystery boxes. Yes, they're hella expensive. They're so cute. Yeah, a lot of fun. Oh, I recently went on TikTok and became a little unhinged because I was okay. Let me give you the whole story. So, in my big sad boy hours, like I normally am, when I think about my life and the way it's gone. So I do what I normally do when I try to comfort myself. I watch kids animation. Like I watch kid cartoons. So Steven Universe will always be my comfort show. I love Steven Universe and I would love to do more stuff. Actually, let me look at something on here. I don't have that on here. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, no. Love Steven Universe will always be my comfort show. Remember when it came out and came out at a very important time in my life. Yeah, 2013, 11 years ago. Fuck. No, yeah. I also ended up watching the, hmm, the Disney Fairies movies, the Tinkerbell movies, and my God, one of the characters from there, from the Tinkerbell movies, the whole Pixie Hollow series, it is a dust keeper named Terrence. I'll show you what he looks like. I'll show you what he looks like. Yeah, yeah. I will show you what this motherfucker looks like. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what this is. Okay, let's just put myself up there. There we go. Transition. So, this is Terrence. Okay. This is Terrence from the Pixie Hollow series. He's a dust keeper. And I was like, huh, you you kind of remind me of somebody in real life who's famous, you know? The same pointed ears, the same cute little button nose, those same features. Like, oh my God, who am I thinking of? Well, well, let me show you exactly what motherfucker I'm thinking of when I look at Terrence. I'm gonna transition into this, and I'm gonna put this up now. New, new. Yes. Ah, I've made this TikTok, and I've someone did say that they see it, and I'm very happy about it. I made a video. I made another TikTok responding to it. But yeah, I'ma show you. I'ma show you. I'ma show you now. Now, this this is who I was thinking of when I was watching the Pixie Hollow movies. Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, oh, holy shit. Wilbur Soot is just Terrence, but with blonde hair. Now I want to see him with fairy wings and all that. And if I'm being a little honest, Wilbur does act very zesty, very fruity, if you will, in a lot of the stuff you've seen, especially with Quackity. So I'm like, huh, the man also kind of acts like a fairy. Like, look at him. Look at him. You can't tell me this man does not give off fairy vibes just from this picture. And then you watch the stuff that he does, and I'm like, you're such a fairy. And then realizing you look like Terrence, who is a fairy. It's all coming together now. It's all coming together now. You cannot convince me otherwise that those two are not the same. I'm going back into an unhinged fit and I do not care. But no, I can't unsee it. So anytime I will see Wilbur Soot in anything, I'm just gonna think, Terrence, what are you doing here? Don't you know Tinkerbell needs you? Pixie Hollow needs you to do your fucking job. Okay? Like, how dare you? Mm. Well, okay. Well, let's see. Oh shit. Oh god. Oh god in heaven. I'm going to fly to something right now. Ah, that's why. I'm gonna look at something. Well, damn. That's intriguing. That is very intriguing. I'm just going to. Sorry, I realize now this is going to be kind of boring to watch me check something out for a moment and not know what I'm checking out. No, no, no. No, no. That's not what I meant, right? There we go. No, no, no. I'm being an idiot. No, thank you. No, I'm being an idiot. I misspelled that, as I always do. Huh. Huh. Well, damn. That's an interesting thing to mention. Huh. Huh. Intriguing. Intriguing. Sorry, I am trying to, like, do some. Yeah, no, I see. Yeah, yeah. No, I found it. It no longer exists, does it? Sorry, I was trying to make apply for a job that got sent over to me. Looks like it's no longer available or isn't a thing, and the people in my life who told me about it lied to me. So that's a fun thing to figure out. It's been a long Wednesday. It's been a long Wednesday. Hmm. 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 I'm gonna start doing like different stuff on TikTok. Because me on TikTok has mostly just been me messing around with filters, and I love that. I find that fun. But I do want to do other things. I actually. So, fun fact about me, I guess. Not really fun. But here's a little fact about me. Um, yeah, I've been in like various choirs throughout all of my years. The only time I wasn't in a school choir per se was during college. Yeah, I tried to, freshman year, young me, I was trying to figure out where I belong, trying to make some friends because I didn't really know anyone there. So I was like, yeah, yeah, I'll just try out a bunch of different things that I like and see what sticks with me, what type of people I like to hang out with. So I tried to join my school's choir and absolutely hated the vibes. Like it was not fun, but hey, there was free pizza at the end and I never went to another meeting. I can't tell you what was off about the vibes. I just I it was not for me. No hate to the people or what that whole thing was about, but like It was not for me. But yeah, I do miss singing a lot. I miss performing so much. Yeah. High school, I was in my school's choir for all 4 years. I did Glee Club 1 year. But yeah, I auditioned for Glee Club every year and I only got into Glee Club 1 year. And during that 1 year, it was the worst experience of my life. It was more stressful than the actual classes I was taking. So let me give you the story of what happened during my brief stint in Glee Club. So yeah, no, every year. Hi, Ace Bishop. I'm just telling a story. Have fun. Yeah. No. Um. No. So Glee Club. I auditioned for Glee Club for all 4 years. I only got into Glee Club my third year, so junior year. For the first 2 years, no, no, no. Yeah, no. First 2 years, I did the first audition, and then got called back to the second audition, and then I didn't get in. But third time's the charm, guys. Third time's the charm. Yeah. So my junior year, I auditioned again, and then I did the second audition, which yeah, first audition is actually a solo audition, so you can sing any song you want, just as long as it showcases your vocal range. Freshman year, I did Heart Attack by Demi Lovato because it was the only song that was running through my head at the time. So I was like, God, I gotta get this out one way or another. I gotta get this ear brain. Yeah. I wasn't that confident in my voice, but I'm like, I can sing this. I do this as a karaoke song, so it's fine. Um, I got called back for second auditions. So the second audition is they'll give you like your vocal part in a song, and then you'll do it in a group, just so they see how you fit in with the other people, how they'll sound, and then they decide from there whether or not you're officially in. So yeah, I had gotten close twice. And the third time finally did it. I finally got in. Um and it was a different, different heads that year. Cuz the first 2 years it was hmm, first 2 years I knew who was running the club, and I think my sister was friends with at least one of them. But no, I knew who was running the club. They're very chill, very welcoming people. Third year though, who was running the club did not know them at all. They were at least a year older than me. So yeah, they were seniors. They were gonna leave anyway, and not really intense. Like they give off. I feel like they think they gave off really chill vibes, and like they're very chill people. But to be honest, like the vibes were not it. Okay, they like I don't know. I got like they were very fake. Like that was the type of vibes I was getting from the leaders. But like, you don't really care about anyone else but yourself. And like, fuck other people for trying to help you out in any way. So, mm, not fun. Not great people. Mm-mm. So it ended up being like a really stressful time during Glee Club, and it's supposed to be a fun, little singing group, kids together, and we we were an a cappella group, so yeah, like Sopranos in general. Mhm. The Sopranos in general mostly got like melody, so whatever song we were learning to do, we would do that, and then sometimes we'd have solos, so we'd have to like do oohs and ahs in the background, and everyone had to do that. But the female leader was an alto. She very much like put so much focus on learning the alto parts that she wasn't really helping out the sopranos. And occasionally, like we would actually have a real harmony, and it'd be really fun, be really pretty to hear. But like we didn't know it. We can't like yes, we can teach ourselves, but like in general, it felt like she was not trying to help anybody else but herself and her vocal part. So her vocal group, even though it was just what at least two to three of them, like she would only really focus on learning that part, and everybody else essentially could go fuck themselves. No, it was two people in charge, but the guy who was in charge, in general, the guys kind of melded together between tenor and bass because there wasn't any real. Oh, sorry. There wasn't any real guys who actually had the bass baritone, like deep, deep like vocals. So they would try. They would try. So yeah, in general, the men were just this is the men's section. That's it. I mean, even in like the actual general choir, which anybody could join in, like it was just known as the men's section. There was no tenor and bass or tenor baritone out baritone bass. So yeah, she like the guy was very chill. This girl was like giving off really fake vibes. Like she thought she was really chill and cool, but in all honesty, she was fake as hell. Yeah. And it got to the point during one session that one of our sopranos actually started crying during practice, and like in general like there was so much tension in the room. You could you could not like drop a pin. No. Like you could drop a pin and it would be noticed. Like that's how tense the room was for that one session. So the day after, not even immediately after we leave. So, yes, it's after school and it is also after choir sometimes. So, obviously it's late, but like not late enough that you couldn't send an email to have us all read the day it happened or at least address it during practice. No, 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 no. What happened was we all got really stressed out, really tense. Somebody started crying, and then we all left. And nothing was said. Nothing was said until the next day when we all got an email from the female leader of our group wanting to talk about the tension that was happening. And I was like, why didn't you address it when it was actually happening? Like, you can't face the rest of us and, like, genuinely talk to us about what was happening? Really? So you're taking the coward's way out of just addressing it through an email. Like, we were all there. You could have easily said something at the time and just be like, hey, is everything okay? Are you guys alright? What's going on? Like, Glee Club was supposed to be fun. And instead, it ended up being like, great, we have another practice. Or, great, do you know what's happening? Do you know the song? No. Can you try to get a piano somewhere so we can at least try to hear it, or at least we can try to sight read? Just give us a starting note and then we can attempt to learn from there. No, nothing. Nothing was done to help. And at the end of the year, like I don't think the tension ever got better, but we got better at hiding it. I think we all got better at hiding it. Hiding the fact that it was like, yeah, you you're not a great leader. You anytime like stuff like that happened, and it happened frequently. Like almost every week to almost every time we would meet. We only met like twice a week anyway. But like it happens so frequently, and yet you can't take the time to genuinely just check in on your own members, talk to them face to face, and figure out what is the problem, what is the issue that we're all having. Are you guys okay? Because, like, if the people that you're with in the group are not okay, you can't really guarantee that, you know, the performances that we're going to do are going to be okay. Thank God we were all professionals about it, but like, ugh. I hope, in all honesty, I either hope she got better at trying to lead people, or I hope she never does a leadership role again. Don't know where she is now. I hope she's doing okay. I hope that she figured out what was wrong and what was happening and, corrected it, or just decides to never do it again. But it was not it. Yeah. But like, choir is different. Choir, anybody can join in. You don't even have to know how to sing well. But if you want to join it, you can join it. All you have to do is just find out your vocal range, even if it's absolutely shitty. Even if your voice is not that great, you have a bunch of other people to cover you up. Yeah. Anyone who wanted to could join, and it was run by our the music teacher, and then band was obviously run by the band teacher. It was fun. God, I loved choir. It was I remember every year around, Christmas time, before the winter concert, obviously, but it was at least a day or so before the winter concert, the full days leading up to it. Our last two periods, our last two, like, class periods, we would actually have to get those teachers to sign us out because we would go on a field trip during that time. And the field trip was actually for the local hospice center near our school. So we didn't take a bus. We would just walk the 2 blocks and, well, not two, like walk the 3 to 4 blocks from our school to the hospice center, and we would sing our Christmas songs. We would sing these carols for all of the patients there, just in that room. I remember I loved doing that so much. I loved seeing their smiles on their faces, and I liked the fact that, like, you know, as a high schooler, we got to at least bring some joy into these people's lives while they're in hospice. I remember there was one time, and yeah, this is when I was still with Glee Club. So this is junior year. We did a song. I think. God, what was the Christmas song called? Oh God, what is it? What was it called? Oh, come on, brain. Let's brain. Let's do it. Let's remember. I think. Oof, oof. Why am I blanking out on this now? God damn it. I think it was no, it's not Come Home for Christmas. It was Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I think that was it. I think that was it. Right. So, you could considering how like high the notes would be, you'd either have to be a soprano or a tenor to be able to do the solo. We ended up giving the solo to our one of our tenors. He was great. He was a junior with me. Loved his voice. So soulful. And the rest of us would, like, obviously a cappella, we're singing the little background. God, he sang it so well and I loved it. It was so pretty. One of the women who was sitting in a wheelchair in the crowd towards the back, she was really feeling it so much, feeling the singing. She was like, "Sing it, baby!" God, I almost could not continue singing the backgrounds because I wanted to laugh. Because I was like, "Oh, God, that's it was so funny. It was so sweet. I love the fact that she was so supportive of not only him but like all of us singing for them, and she was really feeling it. I love that for her. Oh, I really hope she's doing well wherever she may be. God, but I remember that after that, his nickname was just Sing It Baby. We never addressed him by his name anymore. We just kind of, hey, baby. That was it. Oh man, that was fun. Oh, and then here's another story about uh high school choir. Also, during one of the hospice center visits that we did, we used to be able to take an elevator that went from the lobby to the floor that we had to be at, where they would have the little just a little place where they would have us perform and bring the residents in so they could watch us. One time, as we were leaving, the elevator actually broke. So, yeah, we were a big enough group that we had to like split up into two groups. I think I was in the second group. Yeah, I was in the second group. We were about to get on the elevator. No, we got on the elevator, and actually, it stopped working. We weren't stuck in the elevator. No, no, no. We could get out of the elevator. I remember that much, but like it wouldn't. We could not go down in the elevator anymore. So we actually had to like take the stairs, and the reason that they didn't let us take the stairs in the first place was the fact that it was very confusing if you didn't know how to do it. Because there's so many twists and turns on the way through the stairs that you could easily get lost. So that's why they had us do the elevator. But now that the elevator wasn't working, you had to go, you know, walk around. So they had one of the nurses from the hospice center walk us through because I think she was also leaving because her shift was done. I'm not entirely sure why she was walking with us, but she was showing us the way. Um, and as we were going along, she insisted that we sing the 12 days of Christmas as we were walking to leave. So we did that. We complied with request. Her request. So we would sing the 12 days of Christmas. When we got to the fifth day of Christmas, she would belt out 5 golden rings so loud, so joyfully that I was like, "Ah, I can't. We can't. We gotta let her solo that." So every time that we had to sing 5 golden rings, we would shut up and let her sing. Some of us still tried to like sing along with her, but in general, it was like, no, no, no. We know this is her diva moment. Let her have it. And then we finally got downstairs. We were finally free. She was like, "Thank you so much for singing along with me, kids. Hope you have a good time in school." 'Cause we had to go back to school to get our stuff to leave. And I remember as we were going out during that same time, they're like, "Thank you so much, kids, for singing to the residents. Here, have a small candy cane with you." And they would just be giving this out individually. It was so sweet. And I'm like, "Oh, guys, you don't have to do this for us." I mean, just like we didn't have to sing for you, but it's fun, and I like that we got to give those people a little bit of joy. That was my favorite part of being in choir for all 4 years. I loved doing that trip. It's not just the fact that like you got out of classes; it was the fact that like we brought so much joy to these people. I think that's the thing I miss most about performing. At least performing things that I genuinely like. I love seeing the amount of joy that people have when you perform. Even if it's just yourself or the group of people, it's fun. I love it. Now, the only time I ever get to perform is with, you know, religious events, the church group that my family's currently in. To be honest, the way those choirs are run in that, like, religious group is not really great. One, they're all incredibly off tune. They're either flat or sharp, but they're never on key. And yet they insist they sing well and can insist that they can continuously do notes that they cannot hit. And if they try to hit it, it's incredibly off tune, even if they're already off tune. And they lose the tune even more. They're all singing at different times and singing different notes, so it all just sounds like a cacophony of noise that's not great. And in general, they expect you to be so into these songs and just continuously shove down their religious beliefs. So like it's not fun doing that. But god, I miss, performing. Okay. Did I ever tell you guys? I don't think I did, but I'm going to tell you now. So my sophomore year of high school, I didn't take like a traditional English class because the sophomore English class I already taken my freshman year, because honors girlies with my advanced, yeah, my advanced program that I was in for like middle school, so sixth to eighth grade. Yeah, I was a gifted kid. But yeah, I didn't have to take English 2 my sophomore year because I already taken it freshman year. So I just got to take like a regular, not really like a, to take like a fun English class. Most people took film class that year, but me, no, 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 nerdy little me, nerdy theatery me, I decided to do Shakespeare major works. The thing about Shakespeare major works is not the fact that like we're focusing on Shakespeare. It's more about like theater. So we didn't just read Shakespeare stuff. We acted out all of the Shakespeare things. So our first semester was, well, not first semester. Our first big assignment was sonnets. You could not do any of the famous sonnets that everybody knows and loves. Any of the famous ones like, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more temperate and more sweet." You know, we could not do that as a sonnet. We had to, our teacher gave us a website that had all of Shakespeare's sonnets that he had ever written. Go onto there, click in a and just pick one. Then write down, okay, I'm doing this sonnet here, and then we would focus on how would we act this out, how would we deliver this sonnet. I remember I chose sonnet number 13 and then found out that sonnet number 13 was about Shakespeare writing to a young man he was in love with, saying, "Do not get married. I want you to stay young and beautiful forever so that I may cherish you and keep you as this preserved image that I will forever love." That was the whole thing of the sonnets. I was like, "Oh, wow. That's a lot of emotions, a lot of things that I would have to really tap into." And I was like, "God, how do I deliver this speech in the way that it was meant, like clearly conveying all those emotions, but also remember the words?" Because I was like, "Okay, this is a lot." But it was fun. There wasn't any real homework or like real quizzes or tests in Shakespeare's major works. It was just performing, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, I remember in middle school, I was like, when we actually did get to have drama class, because we didn't always get to, and we'd only really have it for like a marking period, so short amount of time, like a few months at most for that class. I like loved it. I loved drama. So I loved drama class. I loved performing there. So to do Shakespeare major works where I got to perform again like that, where it's like, okay, so we're going to do this play, we're going to do this specified scene, and we're going to choose you and you to be the actors in this. So we're going to focus on staging, the blocking, what props you want to use, how it's going to look as we perform it with our other classmates. Self contained thing at the time, or at least at the beginning of the year, where we got to just, figure it out. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Also, easiest class ever. Most you ever really had to do was show up, maybe memorize a few lines or 100, but like in general, pretty easygoing class. For our midterms, we had to write a like sentence or two about what type of character we wanted to, portray for our midterms. Gave it to our teacher, and then he would select monologues throughout all of, you know, out of all of Shakespeare's works and figure out, okay, this monologue and this character sits for you, this student. So this is what you're gonna do. Uh, I got. I said I wanted a maniacal character because, like, I like those types of characters. In general, I do very enjoy villainous characters that are kind of unhinged and crazy, and don't play by anybody else's rules but their own. I love those types of characters because I think they just have more fun. There's more to play around with, more to work with, and more avenues to explore with that type of character. So I I got something from, I believe, Henry the Sixth. I don't remember the full thing, but I remember the general thing that I had to do was, okay, so my character is a recent widow. She had lost her husband and her father in a battle, and this is her morning monologue. Just her really just at the funeral, just be like, curse the God, curse the God who has done me wrong, and stuff like that. Where it's like, if only things had worked out better to save you guys. Like that was my whole thing. When I was like, I have to curse the sky, curse God, and all that. And at the same time, what? At the same time, the murderer of my brother and no, of my husband and father was coming to the funeral and watching the speech. So that was how it was going. It was a lot. It was a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did have fun with that. Sorry, I'm kind of itchy. I remember I had to deliver that monologue, and I was like, okay, let me just go all in here, you know. Oh, Um, okay. This is a weird thing to get as an email. Sorry, just noticed that as an email. Alright. But no, I got that and it was just like, oof, oof. Okay, so in general, I was like, okay, a lot of emotions, a lot of different things, and I did it. I loved it. Learning that speech was so much fun. And I was like, okay, the only thing I really need, I just need like a semi table to pretend like the dead body is on here. And then I would do it. So our midterm was the sonnet we did at the beginning of the year and the monologue that our teacher gave us. And the way we would do it in class, but then we also had this thing called the Shakespeare Festival. So it happened after school. Anyone who wanted to see it could come. It would be in the cafeteria. We'd have a stage and we would just perform the sonnets and monologues. Anyone could come in. You could also bring in people from the outside. Oh, it was so much fun. I definitely got an A for that. I remember that. And because of that, and in general, how I was going throughout that whole class, my teacher picked me and another student who was also in my year, because we had a bunch of different people from various years in that class. Yeah, he picked the two of us to do this Shakespeare recitation contest, well, competition that was in Pennsylvania. He'd always wanted to do it, but he never really, you know, had anyone that he really wanted to bring along with. In come these young, what, 15, 16-year-old kids out of nowhere and just being like, hey, we are strong performers, or at least really good at like delivering these types of speeches with conviction and passion, and you can genuinely feel the emotions that these characters are feeling through the way we would deliver these speeches. At least that's, I think, the general thing that we figured out. So we would have to practice our monologues, practice our speeches, make sure they were loud enough and we were really getting getting it. So we drove all me and my family drove there. The other kid drove with their family. Um so the other kid on the day of the actual competition actually was feeling really sick at the time. So they were not doing well, but they still went to the competition, and I was also there. So we signed in. We got separated from our parents and had to be with the other contestants, who are all these older kids. They're like juniors, seniors who had been doing that for years. And here, you know, little us, we were the youngest. We were also the shortest in that whole group, and this is our first time doing it. So obviously nervous, and just there's a lot of things. Um, the first thing that we did was generally we got to, meet everyone, did icebreakers, and then we got into these acting exercises. In general, just trying to shake off nerves, really, you know, get the energy flowing and the creative juices going on. Generally, just relax us and prepare us for trying to do our recitations of sonnets and monologues. So, we were like smack dab in the middle during the actual recitation contest. And a lot of these kids ended up having like doing the same sonnets or the same types of monologues, and they're like really well-known monologues or really well-known sonnets. So like everybody knew. So if you missed the line or you messed up a word, people would know. Versus me and the other student that was with me, like we had a little bit more of obscure stuff. Like obviously I did sonnet number 13, and barely anybody knows about that. Like, Shakespeare's first half of like, sonnets were all about a young man he was in love with. Don't ask me, man. Don't ask me. But yeah, smack dab in the middle, I had to go up first. Oh, I was nervous. And I was like, okay, you got this. Really trying to calm myself down, shake off any nerves as I was walking up on stage. And I was like, okay, so first I'm going to do a sonnet. I'm gonna walk around and just get a feel for the space, really. And then I did the sonnet, right? And as I was going through the sonnet, I was like on the last few lines. For the life of me, I could not remember what the next line was. Like I was reciting this, and I was like, okay, I'm doing well. I, I'm delivering this as if these were my own words, as if this is how I was feeling. And then for the life of me, I was like, I blanked out on the next line. So I just repeated that line again. And then I was like, okay, this is the next line, and did it. I finished the sonnet. I was like, "Gosh, I messed up. I had to re-say the whole line again just to remember what it was, the next one. But if you didn't know it, or at least if you were there, you wouldn't know that I messed up. I just was like, okay, I finished it. Okay, I'm just gonna say it again. We're doing it, kids. And then I was like, okay, I got it. Now halfway through, I was like, okay, I know the next words. And I did it, and I finished it. And then I went on to the monologue. And I was like, okay, let's just pretend. We're pretending the table is here. And then just did it. And I was like, okay, oh, here's a fun thing I was gonna do. And then I was like, I was performing, and I was like, okay, let's really get into it. And the fun thing I was gonna do, I actually ended up kneeling and just being like, "Rah!" at the end, because it was like kind of like, God, open up the earth and swallow me whole so that I may join my brother and, well, not brother, my husband and my father in death, because I see nothing else that is worth my time, worth my while here on this god-forsaken world. Like, it's something like that. Like, it was a really dramatic end, so I was like, ah, end scene. Right? Yeah. It was like, I got really into it, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then that was it. A little bit later, the other student goes on. His monologue was, all the world's a stage. All the men and women are merely players. Like, that was his monologue. I don't remember his sonnet. But no, we performed it, and then they announce the placement, first, second, third, no, third, second, first place. And I was like, ah, we didn't place, but we had fun. We enjoyed it. And afterwards, they had a little bit of, you know, socializing, so you could get some cookies and, juice, water, coffee, tea, that type of thing. And then you could also talk to the judges about your performance. So I remember I talked to the judges, and I found out Had I not messed up my sonnet, I actually would have placed. Yeah, so apparently the judges really liked me a lot. They liked how I, you know, did my performance. They liked my conviction and all that stuff. And they're like, "Yeah, you can be on par with the rest of these kids who have been doing this for years." And I was like, "Oh, well, thank you." Yeah. And, like we they had the actual obviously they had the words in front of them to make sure they could follow along and also make sure that I knew what I was doing. And they're like, "Ah, when you messed up your sonnet, and we know you did, because we had the words in front of us. But had we not known, if we not had the words in front of us, we would not have known that you repeated the line. Like, it felt so seamless throughout the whole thing. And then the way you did your monologue, like, it was great." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. Um, ooh, praise." And like back in my mind, I'm like, "Ooh, they're giving me compliments. They're praising me. I don't know how to feel. I'm not that great. I just tried my best." But yeah, they said that had I not messed up, I would have placed. And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then I just left with my parents. Yeah, and then the, the rest of the year, we did do like a various other plays. Um, I know that I had to be Edmund and King Lear. And we actually filmed some of those scenes, and I was like, haha, I am the villain per se. Oh, I loved that class. Um, yeah, the only thing that I really had for Edmund is like obviously I'm in my like regular school clothes for well, I'm in dress code, and our dress code was business casual, so a lot of the time I would just end up wearing dresses and skirts. So it was funny to see me in a dress or skirt, then put on an oversized like vest, like a button-up vest, and that was it. I didn't even button up the vest. It was just open, but I had the vest over me. It was oversized. It actually it landed somewhere between mid thigh to knee. That's how big it was on me. And then I just had to be like, "Yes, I am a son. I am planning his death. I am planning revenge." Stuff like that. I was like, "This is the funniest thing I think I've ever done." And I'm like, I don't even believe it, but I'm gonna go for it. And we had that recorded on somewhere. And then our final project was actually we were going to put on not Twelfth Night. I think it was Much Ado About Nothing. That was our final play. That was our final project. And because the role yeah, no. So we had someone be our director, and then we ended up doing like a Kahoot of sorts to figure out, okay, who would play what part. For the lead, we actually had it was not really a tie, it was like a close match. So it was like there were other people, but like generally it was kind of like 52 to 58% wise, if you would think about it that way. Like it was really close, but it was very clear that the people wanted one person over the other. It ended up being me and a senior who was in the class as well. I was the one that had the bigger percentage. And I was like, "Eh? You want me to be the lead? Guys, I'm not that great. I no, no, no. No." But no, I ended up having to do the lead, and I was like, "Oh, this is a lot of lines, this is a lot of words. I'm not gonna remember all of this." And spring vacation, we had watched a film version of the play that we were doing in preparation. To be honest, I only really watched the first half of it, so I only knew the first half. So the first half, it was just here, love struck girl who is sad. No, no, sad emo girl being love struck by a random stranger, then being forced. No, no, no. Yeah, fell in love with a stranger. For some reason, is now forced not really forced, but like for some reason now dresses up as a man and fleeing. Meets said man that they fall in love with in the forest and says, "Ha, I will show you how to woo a lady. It's like you like somebody else? Well, and the someone else you like is just you, female version of you. That's who they're in love with. And they're like, "Oh, how do I woo such a maiden?" You're like, "Well, try it with me." And that was the first half of the play. I remember I had most of my lines memorized. I did not know how to act love struck, like sad, love struck, and just forlorn. I could not do that. I didn't know how to act that out. So I think that was a really awful choice. But I only remember the first half of the play. But yeah, that I had to do that. I had to be, very soft spoken, very coy, and like very much the opposite of who I actually am as a person. But I was like, okay, I'll do it because I don't know anything else to do for this. It's like, okay, I had to do that, and then second half belonged to the senior. She had only seen the second half. She only remembered the second half of the play. So it worked out really well for us. It was like, okay, I'll do the part that I know and you'll do the part that you know. Great, works out. I had to do a giant ass monologue before we switched, and for the life of me, I was just like struggling so much to memorize it and like do it. I was like, I tried to like cut down the words, truly might make it easier for myself to memorize, but the day comes, we do the play, right? And it gets to that point where I'm like, okay, fuck, I don't remember. I do not remember this monologue. But and I was like, huh. I improved a thing and I regret what I improved because it's definitely not the general vibe of the monologue that it was supposed to be. I was like, huh, well, yes, women are truly crazy. And he's like, well, he, the guy who was the male lead, who was also a senior at the time, actually. Yeah. Um, he went along with it. I switched with the other senior, and I was like, guys, I done fucked up. Ah, and I was just like, okay, you just have to add in, and here he comes to woo me to make sure that they understand what's happening because I fucked up. I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, it's fine. It was a lot, and it's fine. You did great. And I was like, no, I did so awful. Just that one moment of improvisation where I was like, I fucked up. I fucked up. I forgot everything I was supposed to do. No. I was so mad at myself. But everybody enjoyed it. They really loved it. So, yeah. It's fine. I still think about it sometimes because I'm just like, ah, you know, I'm upset with myself about that. But yeah, that was it. When the day the finals are coming, like final exams for other classes, Shakespeare's major works. We ended up having a party. So we brought some food in, like cookies, cake. Yeah, yeah, cookies and like other sweets and like sodas. And we played card games or just other stuff during the time where everybody else is taking finals. So we had a full on party. And an ex friend of mine brought in a card game called Disturbed Friends, where the choices were the other people that you were playing with. So it's like, out of these three people, who are you most likely to sleep with? The person to your left, the person to the right, or the person in front of you? And I was like, huh? You would put down one of the cards, A, B, or C, and then everybody would guess, okay, this is what I think this person's answer is. And we actually played with a guy who was a junior who was also in choir with us, well, with me. And then the guy who was the female, no, the guy who was my love interest, the male lead from the play, the senior at the time, he was also playing with us. I got the question about who am I most likely to sleep with, and I was like, so my choices are this junior, this senior, and my friend. A guy like a mutual guy friend I had. I still talk with him. We're still friends. I don't talk to you know, the one who brought the card game. But I was like, great. My choices were all men. I was still in the time of questioning my own sexuality, so I was like, okay, well, so I was like, either this junior who, let's be honest, has no riz whatsoever. I doubt he will ever get a girlfriend. But yeah, this senior who I'm like, I could see myself having a crush on him. I don't, but like, yeah, he's attractive. He's cute enough. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And a mutual friend that I butt heads with a lot, who calls me a bitch almost every time we meet up, and I'm like, ah, that's fair. So I was like, God, I was like, oh, I have to choose. I was like, okay, definitely not the friend. I'm like, great. I'm between two guys who are older than me. Okay, my mind was like, I'm gonna go with the senior. That's not gonna be awkward at all. He's gonna leave, and we're never gonna meet again. I accidentally put down the wrong card. I was like, no, 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 guys, wait. Right. So they all assumed I would put the senior too, because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I never said I had a crush on him. I never had said anything about him. I was like, yeah, yeah, sure, yeah. Out of the three options, yeah, fine. But I accidentally put down the junior instead, and I was like, no, 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 wait, I meant this. It's like, oh, okay. I did not see their reactions because I was embarrassed by putting down the wrong thing. But now I wonder what their reactions were to finding out, like, oh, you would sleep with me? Oh, never mind. You wouldn't. Oh. And be like, oh, okay, you'd sleep with me. Oh. I was like, out of my options, which I did not enjoy. It's weird. Never will play that game again because Ugh. Well, I think there was like a question about like, who would you do body shots off of? This person, the person to your left, the person to your right, or the person in front of you? Stuff like that. It was really, really overtly sexual questions that like involved the other people around you. And it was weird. It was weird. Then again, the game was called Disturbed Friends, so I guess you would have to be pretty disturbed to keep putting other people who are who are playing with you, assuming that you're all friends. But no, most of us were classmates, so it was awkward. It was awkward. Yeah, yeah. That was Shakespeare class. Ever since then, I was like, I want to do theater. So when I was when I was thinking about majors and like college and whatnot, because everybody was saying you should go to college and get a degree, I was like, okay. At the time, I wanted to do civil engineering, and after Shakespeare class, I was like, I want to do civil engineering with a minor in theater because goddamn, I love theater. I don't think I have like the voice to do musical theater, but I can act. I think I can act. So I really wanted to do a minor in theater, and then it just never happened. Like, yeah, I would go to college fairs and I was like, go to like, you know, IT schools and whatnot. Ask them about their engineering programs because at the time I was like I don't really know what type of engineering I want, but everybody's saying I should go into engineering, I should go into civil engineering because that's the future and blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh sure, why not? But the one thing I really wanted to do, I really wanted to do theater just for my own sake because I loved it. I loved acting. I loved performing. I loved making people happy with what I was doing. Like I was creating something that made people happy. That was the thing I was chasing. And it never happened. When I did go to college, when I did my program that sadly dissipated in the same year that I went into it, and then they never told us that it dissipated, so they kind of screwed all of us over in that program. Yeah, like they filled all of my classes that I needed for my major and like in general just to graduate from the school Like, they would fill up my schedule so much that I couldn't even try to minor in theater anyway. It made me really sad. I was so heartbroken when I couldn't, like, do anything in theater. So I tried to join an act like the theater club, which ended up being like a bunch of theater, like all of the theater majors and plus other people. I tried to, but I never found out when they met because no one would ever tell me when they would meet, where they would meet, what was happening. Like nobody would tell me anything because it broke my heart so much to know that I couldn't do the one thing I desperately wanted to do. And then, the pandemic happened, quarantine, and I was like, I'm never gonna get a chance to do this again, am I? I'm never gonna get a real chance to perform something that I genuinely love and want to pour my heart and soul into. I'm like, see, now when I think about it, I feel like, I missed my chance to do theaters. And I still think about it so much. I was like, if if I never had to worry about money, if I could just do the thing I loved, I would have never gone into STEM. I would have been going into college as a theater girl. Because even if I wasn't on stage acting and performing, I still would love to find out how everything works in the background. Like I would have been okay running, s- being a part of the stage crew, running lights or something like that. Just I wanted so bad to be a part of the theater world and I never got my chance to. And yeah, no, for most of my life, I was considered a gifted kid. Sure, a lot of people called me like over dramatic, like no, over dramatic, sensitive and scatterbrained, lazy, unfocused. But like I loved performing and I loved making something that made people happy. That's the one thing I've always wanted to do. And I never got my chance to perform. We never, because like so many people were like, oh, once I actually forced myself to really focus on my schoolwork and whatnot, they're like, oh, you're actually a really smart kid. You're not, the dumbass we thought you were gonna be. So they started putting me in more advanced classes and slowly but surely they're like pushing me more to go into STEM because they're like, "We need more women in STEM. We need more minorities in STEM." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll do that." And I never really got to do theater. Never really got to perform. The closest I really got to performing in general was just joining choirs and singing a part of that. But that the choir thing only really lasted in high school. Other choirs that I've been in was always like for church or the religious group I was in. No, like religious group my family's in. I don't really consider myself a part of it now. But yeah, I would I miss performing. So, I I think I might start doing covers over on TikTok. Just short ones cuz I don't know. But as much as like in general I don't really like my voice, other people do, surprisingly enough. But we'll see. Um, if I could teach myself how to edit videos, I could also do that on YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I want to get back into performing again. I miss the adrenaline, that high I would get, the amount of joy I had when I did that. I want to get it back again because I know I've never felt more alive than when I was performing in theater. I want that back. Yeah. Anyway, it is getting late, so I'm gonna stop stream soon. So, guys, thank you all for coming today. I thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it a lot more than you think. Yeah, a lot more than you would know. A lot more than you think. Anyway, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna transition over to some music just to do a little outro too. If you haven't hit the follow button and you've enjoyed this stream, please consider doing so. I am going to try to be a little bit more consistent, but now that I am going back to retail, we'll see how that goes. About the consistency of the streaming of anything me online. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to try to. What else? What else? What else? Oh my. Oh my. That's not what I want. There we go. There we go. Yeah, and if you're over watching this on YouTube, because I do post these VODs over on YouTube, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Like this video if you enjoyed this. Oh, and, subscribe. I really should be saying this more often throughout, especially in the beginning. What can you do? Brain forgets. Brain doesn't brain. If you enjoyed this and you like what I do have other social media accounts that are linked in the bio. Follow me over on TikTok. It's the same as this, Kai_oh my. Again, it is mostly just me messing with filters. The occasional vlog, the occasional shopping haul where it's just me doing mystery stuff for cute Funko Pops I find. Bitty Pops, because I do collect Bitty Pops. You can follow me over on Instagram. It's Funkos_oh my. That's mostly just, like it's a spam account, but it's the only public account I have. It is mostly just me posting about Funko Pops. Because I love them. I love them so much. Um, what else? I mean, I have a Tumblr that I haven't used in forever, and it's mostly just me fangirling about QSMP. You can follow me there if you'd like, but it's not going to be that active, to be honest. But anyway, that's all. Thank you all for coming. Hope you've enjoyed. I'm gonna transition over to some music so we can do a little outro. Yeah.